Hello, YouTube. Okay, this here is a piece of an ocotillo plant shrub that may be a Spanish word, and if it is, I am definitely mispronouncing it. Recently, I found myself contemplating one of these little plants, okay, and all the spines it has. See these spines? Each one's like almost an inch long. You tap it, it kind of hurts when you tap it. All right, it's really, really hard. It's really tough, and these plants are covered in these spines, and the spines look menacing, and the spines signal to animals. All right, I am not good to eat. I am, I can hurt if you get too close to me. I'm a tough little plant. All right, here staking out my claim in this arid place. Stay away. All right, and I'm thinking, man, why did this plant put so much energy into growing these spines? It took effort to grow these spines. It took life energy, to will. And then I look, and look at the inside here. Okay, the inside, maybe you can't see it too much or too well. All right, in the camera, but the inside of the stem here is green. The inside of all these plants, okay, with all these spines on them, all right, is green. The inside is green, and it's alive, and it's circulating water and circulating plant nutrients and plant hormones. All right, bottom line is the outside, the spines are more or less dead cells, okay? They stop growing. The inside of the plant is still growing. And these spines here, okay, they exist to protect that growth. And that is what I came up, that is what I realized, okay, why these spines are here. The plant is determined, utterly resolved to keep growing, no matter what. And that seems like such a simple realization, all right? And but I want you to think about that. I think there's something profound there. Okay, there's an organism, okay, an energy, a will, okay, a force, a will, okay, and the one thing of utmost imperative, paramount, absolute importance is to grow, to keep on growing, to arrange molecule upon molecule upon molecule in the cell, and then to produce more cells and to line up cell upon cell upon cell, okay, all the way up to the macroscopic scale where you have these spines and these itty-bitty leaves. I'm going to pick one off with my teeth here, if I can. All these leaves. All right, and just to grow, to keep growing, and no matter what, and then this first the seeds land, and then another plant grows. All right, and it's like, I mean, there's something there. That there's this concentrated energy, this will force, and the only the one thing about supreme importance is to grow. All right, just to grow. Now, I believe that there's a certain intelligence there at work, existing, of course, in individual plants, but ultimately an intelligence that derives, from reality itself. Which simply is concentrated in individual living organisms, plants, animals, people, viruses. And all right, and this intelligence, I mean, it's like, some scientists you can't even discuss this, but good scientists you can at least have a conversation, whatever. We all have our own conclusions about the nature of reality. My own caveat is that reality is a very slippery thing. All right, it's quite the nutter. But I think that all these inside one of these living plants, there are all these trillions of interrelated cells arranging themselves up. In trillions of interrelated molecules, okay, arranging themselves up in the cells, probably trillions of cells as well, All right, I mean, it's like the fact that each molecule knows exactly what to do, and each cell knows exactly what to do. So many cells agreeing to cooperate to be an organism. And putting a spine here and a spine here and a spine here, but no, not a spine in between, not a spine in between there, only spines in specific places. And like only leaves in specific places and specific shapes. It's like, how do these like cells communicate with each other? It's extraordinary. I mean, it seriously is if beyond extraordinary, I would use the word miraculous. I mean, ever since there was that first cell that gave, whose progeny we all are on this planet. And, it's the kind of thing, you can out-rationalize it, okay, easily enough, But I think there's a certain, like, subtle perception, a certain kind of subtle perception, of subtle awareness a human being can cultivate, where the intelligence in the molecules, the intelligence in the cells, the intelligence, okay, in the plant growing these spines to protect its water-infused, growing its interior, the intelligence of a root crawling throughout the soil, looking for what it needs, that this intelligence can be perceived just by cultivating a certain kind of subtle perception. It's a little bit tricky and everything's subtle, but if you just calm down, slow down, and really, it's there. All right, it's there. Oh, one thing I like cacti a lot. This cacti, look at it. Aren't they freaking awesome plants? This little small one here, isn't it so adorable? Little God, it's so cute. And recently I was actually like using a large cactus spine as a toothpick. I've actually dislodge a smaller cactus spine that was stuck in between my teeth. And look at all this vegetation here, right? Well, okay, I'm going to get back to the intelligence thing in just a moment, but look at all this vegetation, all right? This is kind of an arid climate. Look at this soil. It's kind of brown, it's kind of dry, not a lot of biomass, okay, not a lot of water, it looks really dry, right? Well, we're surrounded by water, okay? There's not just the water inside my mouth as I talk. All these plants have staked out a livelihood in this, dry, harsh climate. They found a way to collect and retain water. All of these plants in this valley are full of water, and if all of the water, and all these plants were unleashed at once, it would flood this valley. Human beings could go back and forth in boats. It looks like a desert, right? Well, heck, it's like a small ocean. Different perspectives. Surrounded by water in this beautiful, sunny place. Now, recently I was reading about a specific molecule found, I think, in animal cells or human cells. It doesn't matter, all right? I wish I had internalized the name of this molecule, but, even that's not really important. The one thing, the molecule is some kind of a thing where it's like a lever arm, okay, and the lever arm proceeds from 6 way stations, all right, and the lever arm, it collects molecules in the cell, and it collects a certain kind of molecule, and then it brings it from one way station, it rotates, and it brings the molecule from one way station to the next, where another molecule is added to it, then it keeps on rotating, goes to the next way station, each of 6 way stations, chunk, at each of these 6 way stations, a new molecule is added to the molecule it's building, okay, very much like an assembly line, and then there's a final byproduct, and that molecule goes off, okay, and does something else, and this happens to happen in a specific sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, can't be out of order, and it's a very insanely elaborate molecule, and this is just one single molecule of trillions, or even more, trillions upon trillions, of interrelated, interacting molecules, all co-composing this incomprehensibly complex process, and that's just one molecule, right? And you're telling me just completely unintelligent, unguided random all these cells to interact, to cooperate in such a deliberate manner, it's like wow. I mean, just trying to contemplate like how the fuck do how the fuck do all these molecules communicate with each other? Ah, all right. Come to your own, have your own thoughts, have your own perceptions. I think that's everything I wanted to say here. All right, one final phrase. Remember, YouTube, dirt is not dirty. Dirt's not dirty, all right? Think about that. Learn to perceive dirt as something which is not dirty.